This is the Emperor of Rome. In 180 AD, the greatest emperor Rome ever produced took his last breath. Marcus Aurelius, philosopher, soldier, his last wish was that his son would continue his work. His son had other ideas. Within weeks, Commodus ended every war his father had fought, abandoned every territory his father had bled for, and returned to Rome to fight in the arena. Not command, not govern, fight. While the Senate watched in silence, too afraid to intervene. But the arena was just the beginning. Because Commodus didn't just want to fight, he wanted to be worshipped. He renamed the city of Rome after himself. His name was Commodus, son of the greatest emperor Rome ever produced. And the single greatest argument, that greatness is never inherited. Marcus Aurelius didn't want to be emperor. He was a philosopher first, a student of Stoicism, the belief that a good life comes from reason, discipline, and service to others. He spent his reign doing exactly that. Fighting wars he didn't start, managing crises he didn't create, governing an empire he never asked for, and writing. Every night in his private journals, he recorded his thoughts, his doubts, his fears, his constant struggle to be better than his position demanded. Those journals survived. We still read them today. We call them meditations. But Marcus Aurelius had a problem. He had a son. Commodus was born in 161 AD. The first emperor born to a reigning emperor in Rome's entire history. From the moment he could walk, the palace was his world. Senators bowed to him, servants obeyed him, guards protected him. He never knew what it meant to earn anything. Marcus saw the danger early. He sent Commodus to the front lines to learn war, discipline, sacrifice. It didn't work. Commodus hated the frontier, hated the cold, hated the mud, hated everything his father represented. What Commodus loved was the arena. He had been sneaking into gladiatorial training since he was a teenager, watching the fighters, studying their movements, dreaming of stepping into the sand himself. Marcus Aurelius knew and chose his son anyway. In 177 AD, with 3 years left to live, Marcus made Commodus co-emperor of Rome. Not because Commodus was ready, but because Marcus Aurelius, the great philosopher, the man who wrote about wisdom and discipline and virtue, loved his son. And that love would cost Rome everything. Marcus Aurelius died in March 180 AD. He was 58 years old. Commodus was 19. The Senate expected a period of mourning, a careful transition of power, a young emperor leaning on experienced advisors, learning the weight of the office. Instead, Commodus ended every war his father had spent years fighting in a matter of weeks. He signed peace treaties Rome didn't need to sign, gave up territory Rome had bled to take, and returned to Rome as fast as his horses could carry him. The Senate was horrified, but they said nothing, because Commodus had brought something with him from the frontier that no one had anticipated: a temper. In his first months as emperor, 3 senators who questioned his decisions disappeared. No trial, no explanation, just gone. Rome understood the message. And so the Senate watched in silence as Commodus began to reshape the empire in his own image. He surrounded himself with favorites, men who told him what he wanted to hear, freed slaves who owed him everything. His closest advisor was a man named Satyrus, a freedman a charioteer. A man with no political experience and no business being anywhere near the throne. Rome's most powerful empire was now being run by a 19-year-old and his charioteer. But even that was not the strangest part. Because while all of this was happening, Commodus had discovered something about himself. Something that would define the next 12 years of his reign. Something that would horrify Rome, fascinate historians, and confuse everyone who had ever read a word his father wrote. He was good at fighting. Frighteningly good. And he wanted everyone to know it. In 182 AD, someone tried to kill Commodus. His own sister, Lucilla, daughter of Marcus Aurelius, organized the assassination attempt with a group of senators. It failed. The assassin hesitated at the last moment, stepped forward with the knife, and announced what he was about to do before he could do it. Commodus survived. Something changed that night. The attempt didn't make him more careful, more humble, more open to counsel. It made him paranoid. Lucilla was exiled, then executed. The senators involved were killed. Then senators not involved were killed just to be safe. Commodus stopped trusting everyone, except the arena. In the arena, no one could betray him. No one could whisper against him. No one could plot in the shadows. There was only the sand, the crowd, and the fight. He began fighting in the Colosseum in 192 AD. Not occasionally, every day. He fought animals first, lions, bears, ostriches, killing hundreds in staged hunts while the crowd watched. Then he fought men. Gladiators, real ones, though the fights were arranged so Commodus would always win. He fought 735 consecutive bouts. Without a single loss, the Senate was forced to attend every session, to watch their emperor play gladiator in the sand. And after each fight, Commodus would walk to the imperial box, raise his sword, and demand to be addressed by his new name, Hercules, son of Jupiter, god of Rome. The senators complied. They had no choice. One senator, recorded in history only as having a full head of grey hair, was so desperate not to laugh at the spectacle before him that he pulled the leaves from his own laurel wreath and chewed them just to keep a straight face. This was the Roman Empire. In 192 AD, ruled by a man who believed he was a god and killed ostriches to prove it. By 185 AD, Commodus had effectively stopped governing Rome. The arena consumed him completely. And into that vacuum stepped a man named Cleander. Cleander had been born a slave, sold into service at the imperial palace as a child. He had spent decades watching, waiting, learning how power actually worked in Rome. And when Commodus stopped paying attention, Cleander paid attention for him. He sold senatorial positions to the highest bidder. He sold military commands. He sold justice itself. Court cases decided not by law, but by what you could afford to pay. In 2 years, Cleander became the second most powerful man in the Roman Empire. The first most powerful man was busy killing ostriches. But Cleander made a mistake. 188 AD brought a famine to Rome. Grain shipments stopped. People went hungry. And Cleander hoarded the grain. The streets of Rome erupted. Tens of thousands of people marched on the imperial palace, screaming for Cleander's head. Commodus was in his villa outside the city, enjoying a chariot race. When the mob reached the palace walls, his sister Fadilla ran to him, told him what was happening, begged him to act. Commodus had one solution to every problem. He handed Cleander's head to the mob. Literally. The crowd dispersed. The crisis ended. And Commodus went back to his chariot race. Rome had just watched its emperor execute his closest advisor to avoid interrupting his afternoon, and understood, for the first time, that there was no one left in that palace who could save them. By 192 AD, even Commodus's inner circle had had enough. Marcia, his mistress, had watched everything for years. She knew what he was capable of. She knew what happened to people who fell out of favor. And she had just discovered her own name on his list. She went to Commodus's wrestling trainer, a man named Narcissus, and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. That night, Marcia poisoned Commodus's wine. He vomited, survived. So Narcissus finished the job. He strangled the emperor of Rome in his bath. Commodus was 31 years old. The Senate was informed the next morning. They declared him a public enemy, ordered his statues destroyed, his name erased from every monument. Damnatio memoriae. The same punishment Rome had given to so many others. But this time, no one mourned. No one. Marcus Aurelius spent his entire life trying to answer one question. How does a person remain good when the world gives them every reason not to? He wrote about it every night. He practiced it every day. He failed at it constantly and tried again. His son never asked the question. Commodus had every advantage a human being could have: power, wealth, the greatest teacher Rome ever produced. And he chose the arena. Not because he was born evil, but because no one ever made him choose anything else. Marcus Aurelius understood this. In his meditations, written on the frontier, in the cold, while running an empire he never asked for, he wrote something that reads differently now. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Commodus had power over everything and found nothing. The Roman Empire never truly recovered from his reign. The 5 good emperors ended with Marcus. What followed was a century of chaos. Civil wars, assassinations, emperors who lasted months, all of it, beginning with one decision. A father who loved his son more than he loved Rome. History is full of lessons we refuse to learn. This has been one of them. If this story stayed with you, subscribe. Because next week, we go deeper into the century that followed Commodus, into the chaos he unleashed, into the men and women who tried to hold Rome together after he tore it apart. The story isn't over. It never is.